Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by Gresham Ford, the dealer with a heart. The Contribute to the Community program provides the opportunity for the Gresham Ford team to make a positive impact, serving their customers and helping people across the community. And by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to start off tonight's show talking with an organization that is doing some amazing work to help young people who are getting into the sex trafficking industry and trying to help them get out, as well as prevent others from getting into that. So here tonight, we're going to talk with the founder of YaYA Resources, Latasha Curry. Thanks for being here, Latasha.
Thank you for having me, Monica.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
And her daughter, who is also administrative assistant and co-facilitator for the programs at YaYA, Deonica Curry. Thanks for being here, Deonica. You don't mind I said that was your daughter to you?
That's a compliment.
Yeah, it is. And so we met this summer at the Rock the Block event,
yes.
and our tables were close to each other, so I got to find out a little bit about YaYA Resources. And the work that you're doing is one that I think a lot of people don't realize how much of a problem it is in this area, the sex trafficking with youth. But tell me how you got started. Why are you doing this, and a little bit of history of your organization. And why it's called YaYA? What does that mean?
Okay, first of all, for your first question, YaYA stands for Youth and Young Adults. I take them as young as 11 all the way up until 24. Wow. I haven't had an 11-year-old yet, but if I did, I would.
Cross your fingers.
Yeah, thank you. And the reason that I started YaYA, because I'm a survivor of sex trafficking. At the tender age of 13, turning 14, I got involved in sex trafficking. And so I felt that it was my obligation to give back to the community and just to bring awareness, because, you know, it says that our people perish for lack of knowledge. And I grew up in a two-family home, you know, my parents were awesome, and it was just, I went through a defiant stage and I got involved. And once you get involved, you have all this shame and guilt, and so
getting out is probably very difficult.
It's really hard, and then you're addicted to the lifestyle and the money, so it's really hard. So once I did get out, I was just like, you know what, it's my obligation to give back, and you know, so I started YaYA.
And congratulations to you for getting out, and then turning that around to help other people, because you know, if I'm not mistaken, some kids get into it for being defiant, and they want to rebel, and somehow they get mixed up with the wrong people. But some people are brought into it against their will.
Yeah, some
is
people
that right?
are forced into sex trafficking.
Yeah.
There's a big thing with human trafficking, which is another form of sex trafficking. But in Oregon, in the metro area, we have a new thing. It's called survival sex. So we have a big homeless problem here in Oregon, and so we have a lot of young teenagers that are living in these homeless camps, and they feel like, you know, because they're not on the streets, that, you know, they're trading sex for drugs.
Oh, wow.
And they feel like it's not sex trafficking, but it's a form of sex trafficking.
It's
so
their way to pay their dues for,
exactly.
you know, I'm not working, I can't contribute anything
but
else,
I can give you my body.
Wow.
And that's not right.
No,
so,
that's not right. And there's people probably very happy to take advantage of that.
Of course, always.
That's really sad. So, Deonica, you are involved in this organization too. So, how were you born after Mom got out of this, or was that part? I mean, I'm sorry if it's too personal, but tell me about that if you could.
No, it's very interesting because I thought that I was, and she later explained to me that I came along during the last stages of that, so when she was getting out. So no, personally, I don't remember actually being a part of that lifestyle, but I was able to see her getting on her feet and transitioning into what it looks like to be, I guess, a normal human being, and also just like being able to make her dream come true. So I maybe didn't get to see the struggles of that lifestyle, but I've definitely been able to see the fruit of her labor and making a difference now.
Very well said. Very well said. So, how about you? What? Obviously, you're helping and are a big part of YaYA resources. But what else do you do? Are you in school or what?
So I went to De La Salle North Catholic High School, and I graduated from there. And then I went on to go to Warner Pacific High School. College, and I got a degree in human development. So
you're graduated.
Yes. So I graduated a few years ago. From an early age, she always instilled in us to help others. So. Human development is pretty much what I'm doing, working with youth and trying to make sure they can just fulfill all their dreams and things like that.
Wonderful, wonderful goals. And you have a good role model too,
Yeah.
so that's always nice to have. So tell me a little bit about your program. What is it that you do, Latasha, to help prevent this from happening?
So I go into high schools. I'm just now migrating into more middle schools because I found out that there's a younger audience, but I teach intervention, prevention, and early education. So where Deonica comes in is we have the parents and we have the students. We like to separate them, and she'll talk to the students and I'll talk to the parents, and then we'll switch, and then we'll bring them all back together, because I found out that the parents, if your child's in the room and they say they know about sex trafficking, the child will clam up because they don't want their parents to
how
know
do you
about
know
that. And so I belong to Solid Rock Church of God in Christ, and so my church has teamed up with YaYA. So we go out every other Saturday and we do outreach. We feed the homeless, and I was talking about the survival sex, and so I just let the young ladies know that I'm here, and if you need someone to talk to, I pass out my brochures or my card, and I'm thankful to have my church backing me, because I mean, it's a wonderful thing. So I'm really grateful for Solid Rock Church.
Good thing. So the program that you do in the schools, is that an after-school program, a voluntary after-school program?
I work with some of the girls at Roosevelt, volunteer after school, but when I go to the schools, like I've been to SEI, POIC, Roosevelt. It's just the schools within the Portland metro area. I am now getting ready to, after Rock the Block, team up with Jason Nielsen. He's the head of Rockwood Commons.
All right,
and so I'll be doing some partnership out here in Gresham. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, the POIC is out here too, the Rosemary Anderson High School, and then Open School, and as well as the Gresham Barlow and Reynolds schools.
I did some work at the POIC out here with Carl. He's awesome.
Good. Oh, that's wonderful. So so these are after-school programs right now, correct?
Right.
But with the approval of the schools.
Right. Well, when we go in and speak to the schools, it's normally during school hours. Sometimes it'll be after school, where they bring the parents in. It just all depends on the flexibility of the school.
Okay. So you're in the greater Portland area, expanding into the East Metro area.
Correct.
And then if there's schools that are hearing this tonight and are interested, can they go to your website and get your information and contact you about doing that?
Yes.
Yeah. It's sad that we have to move it into the middle schools, but
But I'm
really
finding out that it's
problem.
getting younger and younger. And as far as outreach, I do go into the local strip clubs, and I speak to the young ladies, because there's a lot of underage women in the strip clubs. And I just let them know, that I'm from YaYA Resources, what we're doing. And sometimes I get calls, sometimes I don't, but I can only just plant the seed.
Well, that's right. And sometimes just planting the seed, they may not call you right away. They may call you 3 years from now, and have heard, and thought about it all that time. And obviously, in Portland, we have more strip clubs than any other city per capita, which is kind of amazing. And that's probably a really a right place for finding
and I
people.
believe that the strip clubs are the gateway to lead into sex trafficking.
Wow. We have, and we're also being on the I-5 corridor.
Yes,
Isn't that
we
a
have
problem
Seattle,
too?
Portland, California, Vegas. So sex trafficking is really going on, and people don't think that sex trafficking is happening here in Oregon, because it's not like back in the days when it was on 82nd, and everything's done over the internet, and so it's kind of hard to detect. There was Backpage, but they did away with Backpage, and so they have a new thing, and she's more computer savvy than me, but they have a thing to where it's kind of like Snapchat. So when the Johns and the young ladies coerce between each other, then it's only up for 5 seconds. So law enforcement has a hard time detecting.
Yeah,
So,
trying to follow that and keep
yes.
track of that. Oh, that would be difficult.
Yeah.
I'm sure technology makes things easier in some respects
Yeah.
and much more difficult in other ways. So, Deonica, when you're talking with kids, what kind of reception do you get? I mean,
It honestly depends. I like to pretty much show them that like I'm like you and that I was your age. So even if it's something as simple as playing music that has hidden meanings behind it, to kind of get them into it. So like, you know, if you play a song and they like it and then they're like, oh, singing along, and then you break it down. So what does this really mean? And then they're like, oh, okay. And so that kind of opens it up to more discussion.
That's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. I was in the car with my daughter last week, I think it was, and I was singing along to a song. She says, "You know what that's about, don't you?" You know, and she's like reprimanding me because it was a song with lyrics that really were offensive once I heard what, really heard what they were saying. Didn't think about it, and I should have. You know, it's funny to have your daughter telling you that, but it's a good thing. So, what, as far as prevention goes, what do you tell young people to be aware of, like to protect themselves?
Well, normally it's called the grooming phase, and so if there's an older guy and the guy is, taking them out to eat, buying them things, spending a lot of time, if they're isolating themselves. So if you have a friend and you're a young lady and you know that she's dating an older guy and she's isolating herself and, it's all about him, those are kind of warning signs because, part of the grooming phase is to get the female to just depend on them and them only.
And to keep
them
out
away,
the family and the other friends.
Yes,
And anybody
separate them from family and friends. What also happens is the friend might often feel unsafe with this guy because they know that he's older, and so they'll bring a friend along with them maybe the first couple of times, and that's even having your friend lie. So I'm going over to my friend's house, Mom, and Mom probably trusts her, and you're lying originally, or to start off, and then you separate. And sometimes people don't know what to do. I actually had a young lady contact me like, what should I do? I know that he's older, and she was just able to talk to me, and I'm very, you don't panic or get upset or anything like that. You just kind of break it down to them. So friends being very aware of what's going on, parents being very aware, also teachers, it's everyone around you who needs to be aware and watch the way that people change, because teenagers and young kids, they naturally change a lot, but you kind of know when it's an unhealthy change.
Yeah, they can be difficult, they can be defiant, but there are certain things that just don't feel, if you don't feel right in your gut about something.
And so I always tell parents, your kids, they have Facebook, but it's not your kids' Facebook, it's both of your Facebook. This is your kids' room, but it's both of you guys' room. So you have to, parents, your kids say, just leave me alone, but you have to be a parent. You have to go that extra mile to keep your child safe, because, no one thought that I would turn out and be involved in the lifestyle that I was, and I'm thankful that I made it out, but it's happening every day, and it's like no one's really talking about it. And so I'm out here, I'm talking about it. Recently opened up my safe house, and so I'm just doing the work, and I intend on keep doing the work that I'm doing.
You brought a few pictures, and maybe we could just take a look at those now. I can't remember what all we saw, but let's take a look at them so you can tell me what that's about. You've come a long way, haven't you?
Thank you.
Your life seems totally different. Okay, what are we looking at here?
That was the top one. Is me teaching at Roosevelt High School.
Okay.
That's me and Mayor Charlie Hill. I was actually part of an exhibit for women that were involved in sex trafficking with Dana Clark. And so that's where I met Mayor Charlie Hill. And that's just the picture of me growing into my womanhood, of being who I am today. Wow. And so that's on my website.
Oh, great.
Yes.
And so on your website, if people want to find out more information, they can go to that. We'll have the information on here. Are you ever in need of volunteers for your organization?
Yes, all the time. As I said earlier, that we go out twice a month. So if anyone wants to volunteer, they're welcome to come volunteer. They can just email me, go to my website. It's YaYaResources.org.
Okay.
They can leave me messages or whatever they like, and I will definitely get back to them. And I would love to have anyone that wants to volunteer.
Good. And how are you supported? How do you keep this program going?
Mainly on grants, word of mouth. So if anyone would like to donate to YaYa Resources, it's appreciative. They can go to the website page. We have PayPal there.
Okay, yeah, because there are people that may have been touched by that who really want to support that, or have people in their life they want to be out of that and know that your work is important. We're just about out of time. What else do we need to know about YaYa Resources, or about protecting our kids and from this kind of lifestyle?
Well, our slogan for YaYA Resources is no one cares that you care until you show them that you care. So there's a difference between saying I'm going to be here for you and actually being there. You know, so it's just like letting someone know that you care. And if you think that someone's involved in sex trafficking, don't be afraid to reach out, you know, because it's better to be cautious than to be sorry.
And always, always listen and try not to react.
Yes.
Try not to judge.
Yeah,
Right.
try not to react, try not to judge, and just respond. Take time and be perfectly honest. You know, maybe you don't have the answers, maybe you don't know how to help them out this situation, but just be there and let them know that you will find someone or something that can help them, because it is a scary situation.
And it may be reaching out to you for that
Yes.
help.
Yes.
And if they need more than that, then you probably have the resources
Right,
to give
we
it to
do.
them. That's
Exactly.
wonderful. Thank you both so much for coming in here today and sharing that. I'm very impressed with the work you're doing, and I know there's unfortunately a great need for it. So
Thank you,
good
Monica.
luck to you.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate
You
you.
bet. And thanks for watching this first segment of Community Hotline. Hope you've learned something, and do be aware, be attentive, and be supportive of those around you, especially our youth, because they could be getting into this situation too. So, and don't go away. We'll be right back with more of Community Hotline. Just sit tight for a minute.
Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by Gresham Ford, the dealer with a heart. The Contribute to the Community program provides the opportunity for the Gresham Ford team to make a positive impact, serving their customers and helping people across the community. And by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels. Community Hotline is made possible with